Do you like scary movies? You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
Because I want to know who I'm looking at.
Hello everyone and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I've been wanting to make makeup tutorial videos for you guys for so long, and of course we had to start with something a little bit spooky. So I'm going to show you my version of the Ghostface Scream Mask. I'll list everything you need for this look right here. Let's get right into it. So first I started by tying all my hair back. I used a bit of gel just to make sure any baby hairs were out of the way and I look like an egg, just like this. Then I'm using my Elmer's glue to flatten my brows, rubbing it in every direction to get a good amount on there, and then using a mascara wand to brush all the hairs upwards and make it as flat as possible. This is going to help protect your brows from the liquid latex we're going to put on top and just keep all of the hairs out of the way. Once I've got it as flat as possible with my mascara wand, I like to then just press in with my finger and get it all really flat. And repeat all of this on the other eyebrow. The Elmer's glue is my favourite glue to use for blocking brows. I just find it really easy to work with and it doesn't go crusty or anything like that. You want to brush your hairs up as much as possible and use a bit of force. Don't be scared. You really want to get them as flat as you can. And then I'll add another layer of the glue. I usually add about, 3 layers of glue to really get my brows flat. And obviously on the last layer, I give it a little lick. Very controversial, but it really does help smooth the glue out because it's a water-soluble glue, so it helps everything just smooth out. Obviously, if I was doing this on someone else, I wouldn't lick it, I'd just use some water. Then I'm using a translucent setting powder, this one's from Mehron, and just pressing it into the brows to get rid of any sticky residue and fill in any gaps. And then brush away any of the excess powder. Then I take a white eyeliner and I just map out the shape of that ghost face mask. And it's good if you have a reference picture to look at. So if you see I'm glancing down, it's because I'm looking at a reference picture of the mask, just so I can get the shape right. This doesn't have to be perfect at all, you don't have to get it right the first time. It's just about getting the right shape so you can keep going over it if you need to. You're not going to see any of this once you start putting the makeup on, it's just your guideline. Then we do the same for the nose, get that nose shape. And map out where the beginning of that mouth is going to be. And you'll see how we extend the mouth later on. And then do the same for the cheekbones to create that skinny ghost face mask look. And then I put a layer of Vaseline on my eyebrows, just as an extra precaution to make sure when we take the liquid latex off, it's not going to rip out any of our eyebrows. Okay, then I'm taking bits of that cotton wool pleat and rolling it into these sausage-like shapes, and then just molding it around that guideline I've made and getting the right shape and the right thickness that I want. And I use a makeup sponge to apply a layer of liquid latex first, and then put that cotton wool sausage on the guideline where I put the liquid latex. And then using a cotton bud, I just pick up liquid latex and start layering on that cotton wool, really saturating the cotton wool as much as I can so I can then mold it. This is just what I find is the easiest and messy free way to apply the liquid latex onto the cotton wool without everything just sticking to everything. And you can't see it in the frame, but I've got the bowl like kind of under my chin just for any bits that are dripping down, because you don't want to get it on your clothes. It's very hard to get off, guys. Trust me, I've ruined enough trousers, shorts, everything with liquid latex. Once it's all covered with liquid latex, I then use my fingers to mold the cotton wool. You want to make sure you've got some liquid latex on your finger, or you're just going to get stuck to everything. So yeah, then you just start using your fingers to mold the right shape. Once the cotton wool has the liquid latex on, it's really easy to manipulate. And then I'm just going around step by step, adding little sausages of cotton wool, getting that shape that I want. This bit I used quite a thick bit of cotton wool because that's more of a prominent area on the mask. And then towards the inside, I use a thinner sausage of cotton wool. Sometimes I like to just dip the whole sausage in the liquid latex and get it all covered first, and then stick it on. And it's already got the liquid latex on, and I can start molding it on my face. And then you'll end up something like this shape, and you just repeat all of that on the other side. Just working in sections, molding with your fingers till you're happy with that shape. If you haven't worked with liquid latex before, don't be alarmed if it kind of stings, because that's normal. Just close your eyes if it's stinging. If there's any bits you feel like need adding to, you could just add in little bits of cotton wool. It's all easy to mold together. Then we get another little sausage and do the same thing for that nose shape, laying on the liquid latex, laying on that cotton wool sausage, getting that shape right. I just tuck those little pieces just like above where the nostril is. And using a cotton bud to layer the liquid latex on top and mold that shape and smooth it all out. Then I took a piece of tin foil and rolled it up into another sausage shape, a long sausage this time, and mold it into that long bottom half of the mouth. Just measure it up against your face, make sure you'll get the right length. You can cut a bit off like I did here if you think it's too long. This is about the length I thought was perfect. Then I use a bit of cardboard, map out where my chin is and cut out the shape of that bottom mouthpiece and stick it together with a bit of hot glue, leaving a bit of the tin foil edge at the top because we're going to stick that on the face. And this is the part where you eat any snacks, because you're not going to be able to eat anything after this. Okay, that fits perfectly, and you can see this is why we needed to leave that extra bit out. So you add a bit of liquid latex on the tinfoil and on the face, the bottom of the chin as well, and then glue that piece on and just hold it in place till that glue dries. Then we're going to start using that same technique for the eyes and the nose. For the mouth, I'm starting with the top of the mouth, layering liquid latex, using a cotton bud to mold it, and then covering up the edge of the tinfoil with some cotton wool and liquid latex. I feel like I've used the word liquid latex way too much, but yeah, that's basically what this whole look is. And then I take some kitchen paper and rip off tiny pieces like this, put down a layer of liquid latex, put on the little piece of kitchen paper, and put on another layer of liquid latex and just go all the way around that mouthpiece so all the foil is covered up. You can use a cotton bud to lay down any pieces in the crevices, and keep making your way around with small pieces of kitchen roll till all of the foil is covered. You can do 2 layers if you need to. I think I only did 1 layer here, but if you can still see bits, you can do 2 layers. I did do 2 layers of liquid latex on top just to make sure nothing was peeking through, nothing was going to come off. And then you can use a hairdryer just to speed up the drying process. And I'm starting with a white face paint, following that outline I made. I'm using a big flat brush to fill in all the big areas. This is a Mehron face paint. And once I've laid down the first layer of white, I wait for it to dry and I do another layer of white just to get it as white as I possibly can. For the eyes and the nose and the mouth, I use a fluffier brush because I find it helps get in all the crevices and I can have more control over where I'm putting the paint. And I just keep going over till I'm happy with the consistency and the whiteness of that base. Then we go in with a black face paint and start filling in the eyes. Don't forget to do the eyelid as well. And the other eye, of course. And then we start filling in the mouth with the same black face paint. This is also a Mehron face paint. And you can see I've switched to a skinnier paintbrush just to have more control because I don't want to get any of this black face paint on that white base I put. And then I can go over any bits of white that I accidentally got on that cardboard mouthpiece. And of course do the same with the nose. Then I start with a light grey and add some shadow around the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the edge of the mask. You can use a reference picture if this helps. And then I go in with that deeper grey colour and just accentuate those shadows, adding even more depth. I'm using a small smudger brush to apply that darker grey and then a fluffier brush to blend it all in. And then I take a black eyeshadow and I add it to my temples and anywhere I want to really deepen that shadow and accentuate. So I used it on the edge of the mask, just tiny bit, and just under the eyes. You'll find that the eyeshadow doesn't really work on the liquid latex parts, so I use a bit of grey face paint to create the same effect, create the shadows, starting with a light grey, then adding a bit more black to that grey, making a darker grey. So I added it on the inside of that mouthpiece, a bit on the outside of the mouthpiece, and on the edge of the eye sockets. Once you're happy with your paint job, you can put a bit of black eyeliner in that waterline and use a black face paint to fill in the rest of the face. I'm using a small flat brush just to get that precise line, and then a bigger flat brush to fill in the bigger areas. And don't forget to do your ears because that'll be a big giveaway. I was actually finding bits of black paint in my ear for days after this look, so make sure you give them a good clean afterwards. And then I filled in with that black around the hairline to create a more mask-like effect. And last but not least, we paint the neck black. And then find yourself some sort of hood and you are done. That is the Ghostface Scream Mask. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments. Bye!